This is the regular meeting for the Planning Commission for the month of April. The meeting is called to order, and if you would join me in doing reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we jump into the agenda, there is one change. Item 6B will not be covered today. Oh, all right. We'll do the roll call. All right.
Kenjuk?
Yes.
Hauser? Here. Jones? Bachman? Boletich?
Here.
Hardin?
Here.
Murphy?
Here.
Stone?
Here. Okay. As I was saying, we're not going to be covering 6B. That is actually a residential issue, not a commercial issue. So let's jump into public comment. If there's anybody here in the audience or online that would like to talk about something that is not on today's agenda, this is your opportunity. If you have questions or statements that you want to make in pertaining to something that is on the agenda, we ask that you wait until we're at that point. Anyone in the audience? Anyone online?
No one is online, but I'd like to make mention that the attorney was trying to get on. He might be having internet issues.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Rose.
They all know what game's on tonight, so nobody's talking. So that's good.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. Hopefully all the commissioners here have had a chance to take a look at it. Anyone have any questions or changes that they would like to make?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do we have a second?
So moved.
Mr. Stone seconded. Thank you. The roll, please.
Kenjuk?
Yes.
Hauser?
Yes.
Boletich?
Yes.
Hardin?
Yes.
Murphy?
Yes.
Stone?
Yes.
Okay. The next item, we're on section 5A, is the first public hearing. This is the property at 239 and 265 South Street. This is a notice of public hearing, a site plan review, and for a facade modification.
Would you mind, can we do a little introduction for everyone?
Sure.
So you all know John Jackson, McKenna Associates, the owner. And I think you all got the notice that Vidya Christian after 26 years, Jim? Yeah. 26 years, retired from McKenna to be with her family. And she's a wonderful, and one of the most brilliant women I've ever met. And she was with me since day one, so she's been here 17 years. So we are very sad, and her retirement party's next week, I think? Next Thursday. Next Thursday. So we're going to go out there and celebrate with her career. But John, we met Lori now twice, and we're so pleased to have her as part of the team. I'm going to have John introduce her, let Lori introduce herself. We told her all the dirty secrets about you guys and women, so she knows all of you already, so we're good to go. So, John.
So as usual, I'm not sure exactly what more I could add to Nick's introduction, but he's absolutely right. Vidya loved working in Rochester. It was one of her favorite clients by far. And we're going to miss her. She's got big shoes to fill, but we're confident that Lori Morgan can do that. She's got over 10 years of experience. She can tell you more of the details, but we're glad to have brought her back to Michigan. Yep. From out of state. So that's another victory for the state of Michigan bringing in talent of this caliber. So we're very happy to have her. We're sure she's going to do great here in Rochester, and I'll let her tell you a little bit more about herself.
Sure. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me. I know I have big shoes to fill following in Vidya's footsteps, but hopefully you'll have some patience with me as I learn the ropes. But like John said, I have about 10 years of experience in planning. I have an undergraduate degree in urban planning from Michigan State University. Went and got my master's at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, stayed there and worked in regional planning for about 5 years, and then moved to Pennsylvania and worked for an engineering firm there doing very similar work to this, working with municipalities, consulting on a wide variety of topics, but also doing kind of the day-to-day site plan review and ordinance review and things like that. So very happy to be back in Michigan, originally from Midland, so happy to be closer to family. But thank you for having me.
Well, welcome. We look forward to working with you and hopefully for many years.
That'll be the goal.
Okay, all right.
Ask one question. Sure. Nick, or Lori, do you anticipate being in person for the meetings or remote?
Yes, no, I appreciate that you have a hybrid option, but tend to be in person as
That's
much as
great.
possible.
Wonderful, thank you.
Vinny got really good at figuring out how to use the screen, so have a little patience with us. We can do that here, but it's not, she was pretty simple. She had two computers going, and she was jumping back and forth, so we'll get you whatever you need. It's all loaded. Jeremy has control over all of that, so, yeah, but that would be nice to see, Lori here, so.
That's great.
Okay. All right, as I was saying, the first item, or the next item on the agenda is 239, 265 South Street, site plan review for a facade change. Do we have anyone from the, okay, thank you, good. Before we get started or, get the review of the project, is there any questions or comments from the planning commissioners on this particular project? No? Okay. Then I guess that means if we could have the review, please.
Sure. So this public hearing is for an amendment to the site plan submitted by Kemp Brothers Investment LLC, and was originally approved by the commission in August of 2024. The plans for two speculative multi-tenant industrial buildings on the north side of South Street in the I-2 Industrial District. At this time, they are proposing a change to the exterior building materials, which requires an amendment to the approved site plan, which is why we're discussing it. The applicant appeared before the Planning Commission for a preliminary hearing at your March 2nd, 2026 meeting and was scheduled for tonight's public hearing. The original site plan proposed buildings that would be constructed with predominantly ribbed panel metal siding and a small foundation band of burnished concrete block. And the amendment presented today proposes building constructed entirely of masonry, a 4-foot-high foundation course of smooth face block in dark gray, and the remainder of the building constructed from split face masonry block in deep red, with accented horizontal rows of smooth face block along the top of the overhead doors, windows, and tops of the walls. The facades facing the south to South Street, the river to the north, and the interior of the site provide a significant amount of glazing. These changes are all more in keeping than the previous proposal, more in keeping with your master plan and the general long-term vision for the area. No other changes were made to the proposed site plan. No signage is proposed on the site at this time, but any future signage would require an administrative approval from the city. The original site plan approval was conditional on the placement of a light pole at the entrance to the drive to the site, which is still not shown on the photometric plan. So that is the one conditional issue. But given the proposed change of the building being more consistent with your long-term vision, we do recommend that conditional approval so that that light pole is included on the photometric plan and placed on the site.
Okay. At this point, it is 7:08. We'll open the meeting for any public comments on this particular topic. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to say anything? Okay. Rose, anybody online?
No one's online.
Okay, then. We'll give the applicant an opportunity to talk here. Yes, please, if you would state your name and address for the record.
Tom Kemp, 275 West Gerard, Madison Heights, Michigan. The plan, as we were studying the project, we decided it would be better to go to the pre-colored split face block, and it was recommended from the planning, your outside planner, they would like to see that, and the more we studied it, we thought it would be better long-term. We are builders, developers, and we will hold this property, so we thought it was better long-term ourselves. The light pole is just purely a mistake that we didn't get it on the plans before. We are aware that it's expected, and we intend to put it in. Okay. And we had talked about this change, and we weren't sure if it was going to come before the board. We would have brought it to you a few months ago. We were anxious to break ground, so.
Okay. Again, any questions or comments from any of the commissioners? I guess not. Okay. If that's the case, can I get a motion from one of the commissioners? I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry, I should have closed the public hearing. My apologies, that we'll close that as of 7:10. Now, commissioners, any questions or comments? Okay, do we have a motion?
I would make a motion to accept the site plan review, or the site plan with the light pole.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Kenjuk,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Milotic, Hardin,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Stone.
Yes. Thank you.
We're all set? Good luck. All right, the next item on the agenda is the public hearing for 235 South Main, site plan review, facade change, and payment in lieu of parking. This is the old Heritage Gallery that is being renovated by Lucido Jewelries. At this time, do we have somebody from the applicant here representing? See everyone in the back row there. Thank you. All right. At this point, if we can have the planner's review. Ms. Morgan?
Sure. So this is a proposal from Krieger Clad Architects on behalf of the property owner, Carrot Capital LLC. This is the use at Main Street and West Third Street is within the Central Business District and was, as you mentioned, formerly the Heritage Art Gallery site and a couple of other stores. The proposed use is for retail sales, jewelry and watches predominantly, which is the principal permitted use in the Central Business District per section 1101(1) of the ordinance. The first floor of the building will have an area of 15,710 square feet with a 6,548 square foot second floor for a total building area of 22,258 square feet. The applicant appeared before all of you for their preliminary hearing on February 2nd of this year and was scheduled for the public hearing pending revisions to the plan and the submission of additional information regarding parking specifically. There are two accesses to the building. Fronts on West Main Street to east, West 3rd Street to the north, and Main Street Alley to the west. There are some 6 parking spaces that have access via the alley. Pedestrian circulation is satisfactory with enough clearance to move around the DDA installed amenities on Main Street. We'll end with parking. The dumpster on the site does not have a trash enclosure. With this size retail use, the site is likely to generate trash on a regular basis, and the applicant notes that their intention is to use the trash enclosure within the city-owned parking lot, lot 12. The existing building is constructed of red brick, fieldstone, white siding that appears to be black tile accents on the north facade. The applicant proposes a lime wash. Some of the red brick to limestone color and replace some brick with tile areas with smooth cast stone veneer and create a focal entrance, including the clock above. The addition of the second story at the prominent corner in downtown will have a visual impact on the massing of the street wall. As required of other projects, the applicant has provided a north, south, and east-west cross-section views of the block and across the street to enable planning to assess that impact. The applicant has submitted a detailed photometric plan which proposes numerous exterior wall-mounted fixtures. All of the fixtures are downward directed with the exception of the VEX 12 outdoor light, which is an up-down wall mount, but a note has been added stating that the illumination won't create additional sort of light pollution. It will just enhance the building. The plan proposes concrete planters. Planter detail has been noted as sheet AS 101 and will be planted with evergreen shrubs and seasonal flowers. For signage, the elevations show sign representations on various facades of the building, while signage is typically administrative review. The proposed clock shown on the northeast corner above the main entrance forms an integral part of the building's architectural design. For mechanical equipment, at this time, the location of the rooftop mechanical equipment has not been finalized, and the applicant notes that once the equipment location is determined, it will be screened. The first floor of the building, in terms of parking, the first floor of the building is predominantly for retail sales, while the second floor is intended for office operation, inventory, and storage. At the preliminary hearing, the applicant was asked to provide an accurate parking calculation based on the use of various areas. This included the retail and office use, retail use at one space per 200 square gross floor area, and one space for 300 square feet of gross floor area respectively for the office use. Based on the use of the area, that would have required 86 spaces. The plan shows 6 parking spaces on the rear west side of the building, resulting in a parking shortfall of 49 spaces. The applicant is seeking a payment in lieu of the parking shortfall, and the Planning Commission has the authority to grant special exception approval for the payment in lieu of parking only to the extent that existing public parking in the immediate area exceeds the requirements of this ordinance for the existing contiguous buildings. The plan also notes loading spaces along the alley, which partially encroaches onto the alley right-of-way. However, we find that the location is acceptable with the condition such that activities shall not take place during peak hours, so loading isn't considered to be problematic. So the question really becomes for the Planning Commission to find the data satisfactory. If the Planning Commission finds the data satisfactory, we recommend considering the applicant's request for payment in lieu of parking. We defer to the city attorney on what the city's position would be in the event of a change of use to another of lesser intensity. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, could I just add, I told Lori I would do this a little bit tonight only. So we know for, yeah, I know, Nick. So last month, we appreciate the Lucido team. We appreciate Dave Custer. Jeremy and David have been working on taking this extremely serious. We talked to Lucido's, we talked to Lori and John about 1 or 2 spaces gets us nervous sometimes. So this was all about, when Lucido's came in, we talked about, does your business model work that we can look at a large number, whatever that number might be, right? So if in fact you said, all my business is at 9 o'clock at night, David's gonna tell you, there's probably gonna be a problem. So we worked together, David took their data, their hours of operation. They're not a new community, new business in town. They've been here for, I think, 26 years, something like that. So they know the rhythm that they have in their store. So we wanted all that blended together, so they got a fair look at this parking situation. Again, it sounds nuts until you dig into the data. So we dug into it hard, thinking worst case scenario the whole time, to be honest with you, that how are we gonna prove that that many spaces are available? Knowing what other people do in town, expansions, Chapman House, Brunch House, all these different things, how it's all been working, and then in real time, knowing what we're gonna face. So when when the report came out, Vidya had gone through that and melded those together. She was comfortable enough to say it's not an issue. Hard to believe, but it's not an issue based on facts. So I want you to know that we took that very serious. They lost a whole month because we wanted to make sure that David Custer had enough time to figure out all of this. So I just wanted to tell you that that was taken very seriously. This wasn't just thrown at you like, hey, we know the East Deck's got spaces open, they can walk a half mile. This was about parking in the area, hours of operation, business plan, melded together to make our recommendation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments at this point?
Could we go back to the calculation for the spots again, because it was 86,
Yeah, she forgot about that.
Yeah, something's-
Grandfathered in because it was a gallery, so they got
Okay.
credit for X. That's the missing
Yeah.
number right now.
Sorry,
That's okay.
sorry.
yeah,
Yeah, they were credited for being a retail operation, but it wasn't pure retail because it wasn't a 1 to 200. It was a museum that has its own calculation. So we didn't give them more credit than they were deserved, like take the whole space, it would have been 75 at 15,000, right, if you did 1 to 200. So no, to be fair, it was a museum. They had a lesser count. They had events, they had galas, and you don't plan for that, right? So that's where the missing number was.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for asking.
Anything else? Anyone else? I guess I have one. if we could go back to the depiction showing the front entrance, there is a planter out front that is currently, existing, but in the drawing that you submitted, it looks as if you're replacing it with something so it looks like the rest of your building. I just want to verify if that's the case or if that was if it's going to stay the same.
When they come up, we can have that answer later.
It's a big file too, so
It's like page 38, if that's helpful.
38.
Keep
There's a
going, you're on
color
42.
one.
There you go, right there. In fact, right where the pointer is, the planter above that, it looks like it's been whitewashed or replaced to look like the rest of the building.
Those are our city DDA planters on the corners.
Yes.
We would propose that would stay.
Understood, but based on this drawing, it looks like it's been whitewashed to look like the rest of the building.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
it's not gonna be touched.
It will not, yes.
Okay.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Just clarifying that.
That's for Main Street, we don't want touch, right?
Okay.
Good point. Good catch.
Okay. I guess no other questions or comments from the commission. At this point, we'll open up for the applicant, please. Would you like to say anything about the project, anything further?
Hello, everybody. Joe Lucido, 2933 Ambleside, Rochester. I have Ryan with me representing Krieger and Klatt as well.
Ryan Kowalski, Krieger Klatt Architects, 400 East Lincoln Avenue, Royal Oak, Michigan.
We're just very excited to elevate our business in the community. As Nick had mentioned, we've been here for a long time. We love this community. We think this is an amazing opportunity for us and an amazing opportunity for the city to bring clients downtown. We are really putting our heart and soul into this project and bringing something special to the city with the city's traditions in mind when creating this concept. Not just being something new and modern. It's something that it's high-end, it's elegant, but it's also traditional. So that's something that we considered very highly when we were coming up with this plan for this space.
Okay, thank you.
You want to talk about the parking, how you became comfortable with that? I think that's important to hear from you.
You know, we understand that when we were talking about the parking spots based on the square footage, and our business is very, very specific. It's not just luxury retail, it's very high-end luxury retail. So our space is very similar to an art gallery as it was, where it's a very specific clientele. It's not a restaurant, it's not a grocery store, but we do understand that this parking allotment is tied to the piece of real estate, and we understand that there's a square footage that comes with it, and it makes sense.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Can I just ask, Nick, was the 41 spaces was already a parking in lieu of agreement with the Heritage Gallery?
No, so back in, a little history here, so back in 2015, when we made the parking management district, every single building was looked at, measured, fire department measured it, came up with a chart that said, if you were to have parking, and most of them had zero parking, 6 spaces here, then they were assigned that number and said, if anything that you do, as long as you continue, in this case, to be a gallery and take it at, I think it was capacity of 1 to 300 or a weird number, only one that we've ever done that way, you will be granted for that. If you do anything in this building ever to be more intense, we will go to the new calculation for retail, office, whatever it would be. But you get the credit for those spaces, even though you never had them, you didn't pay for them. Every building got credit for X. So 90% of the buildings downtown have zero parking, but they're credited for mostly retail. They went to a restaurant, that's when they're short, right? So they didn't have the spots and there was not a pay in lieu of before.
But I think, if I understood the numbers though, right, I don't think, based on traffic currently, you don't even really exceed the 47 plus the 6, if I got the numbers right, from the, whatever I saw in the packet, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
You know, we have some employees that would be there, you know, they have the option to come in. A lot of people are hybrid, but about 25 employees. And then currently our traffic is about 30 customers per day on average, spread out throughout
Yeah.
a period of time between 1 and 4 o'clock for our busiest hours. So even if you were to double that, which we hope that that's the case, this parking allotment would
Yeah.
by far cover that.
And you close at 6 and then maybe one night 7, so restaurants and stuff, you won't be competing parking spots with them, so.
Correct, and we're not very busy on those late evening hours. That's just
Yeah.
to make accommodations for people that can't make it during normal business hours.
It's a beautiful building.
Thank you.
It really is. And I'm curious about one thing is, when I was looking through the floor plan, there's a bar in there. What is the function of the bar?
It looks like a bar.
Yeah.
Or what we would see as a bar, but it's more of a waiting area or a hospitality area. You know, we have we offer our customers coffee
Okay.
and water as well, you know, just like a car dealership would type thing.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. It is now 7:26. We'll open this portion of the meeting up for public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to talk about this particular project? Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I don't hear very well, so how many additional parking in lieu of is going to be in this project?
If you would, please come to the podium.
You have to come up, Raj.
And if, you-
Give your name and your address, then. All right, we know you.
You're probably wondering why my face looks like this, so I'll answer to stay out of the sun and you won't have that problem when you go to the dermatologist.
See the other guy.
I'm sorry, my name's Roger Knapp. I'm 86 years old and I've lived in this town since 86 years, maybe, other than I've been in and out of here. And been downtown for most of that time. There's things I have curiosity about. I was wondering how much, first of all, I want to say this beautiful project, what I see to it, and, you know, it's really great for our downtown, but how many parking in lieu of spots did you say we're going to have? Okay, 49. I might not be the appropriate time for this, but yeah, I'm real concerned about parking downtown. It's gotten to be, in my mind, a very troublesome situation down there. We sell a lot of parking passes for employees, and they now, where they used to, years ago, we always tried to get them out around. Now, when they buy a pass, you can come right downtown and you can park in the best spots, other than the parking meters, which really aren't that many when you look at things. So on a busy night downtown, or maybe a Friday night, and some of those nights like Friday night, the employees park in the best spots downtown. They get there, let's say we're talking about the evening, for example, and I heard something said, well, at 6 or 7 o'clock, that doesn't bother restaurants. It does bother restaurants early in that time of the night. You can be full by 5:30, and but the way it's set up now, I think we have a big problem. And this you're talking about, did you say 46? 45. And so but the other part of the problem that you may not be aware of yet, but now that the farmer's market is going to be, once that gets open, the employee, that free parking down there, the employees have that 87 spots that are down there aren't going to be being used anymore, because when they have functions in there in the evening and things, right now they only use it on Saturday, but once that building opens up and they start using them for functions other than that, at that time, they will not be able to count on that. Those people, that lot's full every day down there. I mean, it's the most packed lot continually all week long. And when they can't use that anymore, they're gonna shove that 86 cars down there, and you combine that together, 140 some car spots are gonna be shoved up into the parking area. And I guess my question is where are the employees gonna park when you shove another 140 some cars in? If that's, you're gonna have this in the farmer's market lot. There's no plan that I know of to, create any new parking. We take money in for this, the city doesn't, yet there's nothing being done with that. So that was my only concern. I'm not against the park, I'm not here to be against this plan, I think it's a great plan, but I just thought it was an opportunity to have you take a look at that, or just be aware of the fact that you can't keep selling these spots downtown unless you're gonna provide some parking for those spots. So, anyway, thank you for your time.
Okay.
Roger's been a great advocate for a long time. We have some good discussions about this, and I told him we will look at, back when he's talking about there was yellow and blue signs. Employees had to park at the back wall. I don't think we should dismiss that thought again, that we could say, where can you take your permits and park? And Roger's been positive about it, and he's gonna work with the police chief. We're gonna take that seriously under consideration. It wouldn't change any ordinances, it would just be, the way we sell permits will be like, you can't park in the best spots anymore. We don't let them park at meters, so I don't think it will be a problem. And I committed to him that we will continue to evaluate that to see if there's a better way to get some businesses, like Roger would tell his employees, I'm gonna let you go if you don't park far away. I want my customers who pay your salary close, but not all restaurateurs are like that in this town, or businesses, quite frankly. So he did not fall on deaf ears, I will tell you that. And I talked to Chief George, and we're gonna meet with him and see if take it to the Parking Advisory Committee. Matt, you're on that, I think, right? So we're gonna talk about it further. So it wouldn't be about pay and lieu, but how can we better manage the parking? Because the numbers show we have parking, but if they're taking the good spots, the clients are walking further, right? So I just wanted to say that.
Nick, I would agree. It's a great point. But I think that if Lucido Fine Jewelry has 86 or 89, whatever the required number is, cars at one time, they have a bigger problem. They're probably getting robbed. Honestly, because they'd have, 20 employees maybe max at one time, and you're gonna have a lot of people in that store that they can't watch. So that's a bigger concern, probably.
I like that Joe said, hadn't thought about it until he just said it. The gallery was just like this. It was, you didn't just walk in and say, I'm gonna buy a piece of art. You made an appointment because it was high-end stuff, so it's a different animal. We did tell them, and it's acknowledged, we just talked about that, if this ever, they decided we're done, we're selling, the next person in doesn't get this. It's because of this, if the planning commission agrees to this, the condition will be put on, based on this use, this business plan, you get the waiver. A normal retailer that doesn't meet your standards would have to come back and ask for double that, right? So, I think that's important.
Okay. A couple of points. First, based upon the parking lot study that was submitted, the west deck by itself has more than sufficient parking to cover the numbers that Mr. Knapp talked about. But then, as a point of clarification, it has been determined that if the Planning Commission approves this, we can do it on the condition that the additional parking is for this business only, and it does not stay with the property.
Defined by the parking ordinance requirements, that was read into the record, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. All right, anyone else in the audience that would like to speak on this project? Okay, Rose, anyone online, please?
No one's online.
All right, thank you. It is now 7:33 and public comment is closed. Commissioners, you have any follow-up questions or comments? Ms. Murphy?
I do. I had a question about the northwest facade that had the clock, and it's highlighted in the rendering on page 40.
You want me to go back there?
If you'd like. But there was a nice, very understated clock on that wall that I think people headed south, they would see that, and it's not there, and I'm just wondering if.
Is the intention to have the clock on the building? Maybe
They had a clock over the entrance, right?
Yeah, over the
Oh, at the entrance, and then the, yeah, go one more, I think. Oh, wait, down. No, the other, that right there where the red square is. There was, in the first plan that we saw, there was just a nice little, I don't even know if there were numbers on it. It was very nice.
Yeah, there were at one point, we decided when we were going through this to remove that one. We just kept one at the corner.
Okay. Is there something else that you could do of interest on that, a little brickwork or something? I don't know.
We can always look into something right now, but maybe we add something back else out of that gable to kind of add some interest.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Mr. Hauser.
I'm going to dive right into it. Are you the person to ask about the parking and the spots and the math? Joe, Mr. Lucido, you're up. So obviously, I think a reasonable person cannot debate that what you have proposed from a design and aesthetic is outstanding, okay? So I think that's been stipulated too, at least in my mind. I have to make certain that the 49 spots, are sustainable based on the math and the science that's been presented, okay? So I'm going to toggle back and forth here just a little bit. So starting at page 63 of the packet, there are some metrics that have been provided to us, okay? And those numbers and their talk about daily visits over a 52-week period, right? Did you put those numbers together?
It was done through a third party. We used geofencing.
Okay.
That tracks devices into our store.
Right. And it looks like, if my math is correct, if I'm looking at pages 68-ish or so, 66, there is, so on page 68, right there, it has kind of a chart as to the hours, the number of store occupants versus time, okay? And if it looks, they kind of track, fairly consistently. It gets a little bit busier in the late afternoon, but otherwise it's fairly consistent. But if I go to the one page I really wanted to focus on, I'm sorry here, is right below it at page 70. I want to make sure I understand this number correctly. That is the daily visits per year, and it's broken down by day of the week. If I did my math correctly, it looks like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are right around 24 to 25 visitors per day. Does that track correctly with your knowledge?
Seems about right.
Okay. And then on Friday, it bumps up to 30, and then Saturday's 43. So obviously Saturday would be your busiest day, right?
That's correct. Mostly due to walk-in traffic.
Okay. And then I want to go back, I think it's page 36 or so. That's the study that Jeremy did with all the parking spots, okay? And this is important because it deals with lots 4, 12, and then obviously the parking deck. And when we look at the parking deck and the information that was provided to us, there's a bunch of calculations. And Jeremy, that's at page 36 on the packet. That's it right there. Yep, that's correct. Okay, so there was a question, is this sustainable or not? Is 49 spots that you want sustainable based on the information we have? And what was provided to us, and maybe Jeremy, if you want to confirm, it looks like, and I'm just looking at the west deck, which is about, a block and a half, 2 blocks away from this proposed facility. The majority of the time, there's not 10, there's not a dozen, there's more than 100 spots available for the west deck on all days of the week at both times of the day that the study has been taken. Did I read that correctly, Mr. Peckins?
Correct.
Okay. And then similarly in Lot 4, which is not directly behind, but I think it's adjacent to the brunch house over there, right? So it's a little bit behind. Similarly, I don't see a particular instance where there's less than 49 in Lot 4 from 11 to 4. Is that right, Mr. Peckins?
Correct.
Okay. If I can ask my colleague, Mr. Stone, who's on the parking, you're president of the parking commission, is that correct?
Well, I don't know about president.
Yes. Depends on the day. Does this information that's been provided here track with your knowledge of capacity for these spots, these parking lots?
Generally, yes, the decks are underutilized and could use a lot more foot traffic and car traffic to both generate revenue and justify them being there for this city. And the lots, I don't know if I pay attention to as much simply because the numbers aren't as large, but they are generally open. Unless there's some massive event like the Bright Light Show in Lanyap.
Right. Okay. That's all I've got for right now. I might have some more, but I just want to check on my notes, okay?
Yeah,
So
no.
I'll pass to anyone else.
Well, if I can add to what you said, taking the study and stating it another way, in the deck, at any given time or day, about 60% of the spots are available, give or take a couple percent. Likewise, with Lot 4, same situation. At any given time, 60% of the spaces are available, give or take a couple.
Can I tell you something? So it's funny, I hadn't heard it that way. So when we did this build out, our guess back in 2015 was 38% of the day, the lots would be reasonably filled.
You're talking the parking decks when you
So
built them out?
The whole system.
Yeah.
Decks and the whole system. There it is right there. You just said, that's beautiful. I'm glad to hear that. And we were sustainable financially with 38%. Cool.
Okay, very good. Any other comments or questions from the commissioners? All right.
I do. I'm sorry. Is it your anticipation if, no one knows what the vote is, but if it was granted and the payment in lieu of parking was voted in favor of, is it your intent to pay it at once, or do you intend to pay it over time, which would require city council approval?
I don't necessarily understand the whole process, but we could probably do either or.
Do you want to explain it?
Yeah. So
Nick?
if you can do up to 10, you have to pay to get a building permit. Over 10, you can go to the city council, which takes another public hearing, and you can ask for 10 equal installments of 10 years, up to 10 years. So, and if you didn't complete the 10 years, all the spaces you paid for go away. So, we've only had one, the Roxy came in for a payment plan because it was a bigger number, it was 62 spaces, I think. And he's paying that over 10 years, but everybody else pretty much is just, this is a big one, so that's not an insignificant number, but that's the way it works.
When is the payment due if you did the one-time payment?
Technically before C of O is issued, so not the building permit, but
We would do that.
that's what I figured.
Okay.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that had to be part of
No.
today.
'Cause
Okay.
They could change their mind even, and wouldn't break any
Okay.
stipulations here.
All right. Thank you.
The one other thing I might add too is the data that we provided for our foot traffic, that tracks devices. So a lot of times, it's a couple walking into our store, which is typically one vehicle. So that's something that we haven't really been able to fine tune that data. So that's another thing to kind of think about when looking at that.
Question? I don't mean to keep peppering you, but the hours of operation that you provided in the packet were obviously critical to the decision, at least as it pertains to me. Do you anticipate changing those hours of operation in your new building?
We do not.
Okay. I don't have anything further, thank you.
All right.
I have one question for clarification.
Mr. Hardin?
So, Nick, you said as it's written, the motion, it is, the payment in lieu wouldn't travel to the next potential tenant. This stays with this use.
Your decision would be, maybe if you worded that motion, if you chose to go that way, would be based on the parking calculation for Lucido Jewelry office/retail. This is how the 49 spaces are based on that, and a business plan that indicates the hours of operation. That's the key. We're still taking them at 1 to 2 o'clock, but the reason you guys are even discussing this is because their business plan doesn't load up like a normal retailer. That could be open till 11 o'clock at night if it wasn't any other retailer, right? So, Jeff, is Attorney Crowder, are you back on?
Yes, I'm on. I just had a comment on that. So if there was spaces that were purchased, those would stay with the property. What we're talking about is the calculation of what would be needed for that property would not travel. So that's the section 2402 subsection 9, which says that this flexibility that we're talking about would be tied specific use and site plan approved and would cease to exist once the use terminates or changes to another use. So if they bought 41 parking spaces, those parking spaces do travel with the property, but the calculation, so another retailer would not get the benefit of the reduced requirement. But they would still, the purchase spaces do go with the property because but the calculation doesn't. I just want to make that clarification.
Thank you.
That didn't help me. That went backwards. Can you explain that? You're talking about the original that were allocated to that building are going to stay there no matter what?
Yeah, those are plus the pay in lieu of.
The pay in lieu of would go away if the business goes away?
If the type of business changed.
Yeah. So.
No, the spaces don't go away. Just the calculation that you're making for this particular use, it generated a requirement. If you agreed that it's use X, that there's number of spaces required, that is what's calculated that wouldn't travel to the next use. But if they paid pay in lieu of 41 spaces, that property gets 41 spaces that they purchased. So that doesn't go away. It's just the ability to have a lesser parking requirement that a new retail establishment wouldn't enjoy.
Right, so anything more intense, just like anything else, would need a new calculation, which would, like Jeff's right, they get the credit for the spaces, but then they would be over because they were more intense than this, so.
If there's like a restaurant with alcohol that came in,
Right.
That's a completely different use group, a different calculation. They wouldn't just say, oh, wait, we'd have similar to what Lucido's did. No, it would be a completely new calculation, and they would have to meet the parking requirement. But they do get the benefit of the 41.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't get the benefit of, an additional 40, whatever they might need.
So if it was a bar to come in here eventually 10 years from now, they would get the 31 plus, I believe it's 49 that we're approving today. So the basis gets reset today, if we vote yes, to 80.
Right. And then recalculate at the new count, which would be double what it would be, because that's 1 to 100, this is 1 to 200, so, yeah.
So they could come in, if a new business came in, it could be at or below, but if they needed more, they would have to come in and reapply.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
That's right.
Did you get it?
No.
Okay. I want you to I don't understand seriously,
it. I
yeah.
thought I understood it. No, I don't think I do. So there was 6 spots in the back.
Yeah, that's
and then
theirs.
There was like 40-some allocated when the whole plan was done for
Correct.
downtown. I thought we were saying these additional 40-some or whatever parking lot are going to go away if the Lucido's business.
No,
goes away.
because it's taken at 1 to 200 and they paid for them, so they stay with the property. There's a negative side if for us in the world, retail is retail. This happens to be high-end retail, 30 people. If it was a retailer that brought in 100 people per hour, it's still retail. That's how it is anywhere. The only calculations change when you go to use group changes. Something that's more than 1 to 200. Same with medical office. We don't say if you're a clinic or if you're a urgent care. They're still exactly the same at 1 to 200. So the way Jess explained, this is 200, this is square feet of 200 and office upstairs. They couldn't put retail upstairs. They couldn't put a bar or restaurant upstairs, 'cause that's more intense than what's there. So this is retail, office, those spaces purchased are with the building forever.
Better?
That's not what I thought we were saying, but now I
Oh, okay.
understand it.
Okay.
When we originally were calculating the parking, it's gone down a little bit because we changed the use group upstairs to office, which is a lesser use. So that's how, when the first time we came, they had a few extra spaces that they were asking for because we made that determination it was gonna be similar to what they are doing rather than the entire floor plan be retail.
Right, and sometimes, so video is very specific, it's cited in the report that when the planning commission can look at use groups within a building and break the spaces up. You have that ability, that's what we did in this one. When they first came in, it's like, you're Lucido's, you have to have offices, you're all 1 to 200. That's not fair. When they said, no, we have separation, Randy looked at the building plans,
300.
video reviewed, this is an office. You can't sell watches up there. And actually, I was hoping that there's, if I'm correct, you have watch repairmen in there, right?
Not in this office.
Not in this one here?
We have, jewelers, so it's very similar, you know.
So if you wanted to go hardcore, you could have said, those jewelers can't have people come in and stand there. They can't, they're not officers, they're not, you could take that at an industrial manufacturing, so it's 1 to 1,500. They chose not to go that route. Vidya said, worst case scenario is we're gonna count them as 1 to 200. They shouldn't be. They should be lesser because there's one person, a jeweler in there at a station, right? So, like Jeremy said, it was a hard look. Vidya spent a lot of time at that floor plan, trying to figure out what's fair, yet not give away the ship.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Mr. City Manager, as far as motion goes, we actually need to make two today, one for the parking in lieu of and one for the,
Yeah, I think you could put them together because the site plan approval will be based on the special exception for the parking. If you don't give that, if you're gonna do, you do the special exception for the parking first based on the site plan, the site plan's not approved, so you bundle it together. Attorney Crott, do you want it any other way, or John, or two separate motions?
Yeah, it should be two separate because it's the site plan approval and then special exception is just because they're asking for the pay in lieu.
Which one first?
I would say the special exception.
I agree.
I don't think it really matters, but if you're not gonna approve the special exception for pay in lieu, then they're not gonna get approval on the site plan.
Yep. And then one last thing, because we don't have a full plan commission, we always tell the petitioner, if you are, once the vote is on, the vote's on. So if you are nervous about, you'd rather have the other, three people that aren't here?
Well, two
Two people,
technically,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
yep. Then you have that right, but, I forgot Mr. Gaston's gone.
Yeah, so you need 5 votes
You
then.
need 5 votes out of 6.
5 out of 6,
for
yeah.
approval,
I think we're good.
Okay.
all right, do we have a motion for the special exception?
I'll so move, as long as you don't ask me to word it.
All right, a second, please?
Support.
All right, Mr. Stone. All right, so basically the motion is special exception parking, payment in lieu of parking for
49.
49 spaces. Roll call, please.
Kenjuk,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Berlitich,
Yes.
Harden,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Motion passes, thank you. Okay, the next motion is for site plan approval.
Motion to approve the site plan is presented, subject to that planter.
Yeah, so that's all right.
That was just in the rendering.
I gotcha.
Okay. Mr. Hauser made the motion. Do we have a second, please?
Support.
Mr. Stone, roll call, please.
Kenjuk,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Berlitich,
Yes.
Harden,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, very good.
Good luck, fellas.
Thank you, everybody.
You're welcome.
Yeah, gentlemen, I think you've got a wonderful project here. I think it offers a lot of potential for the downtown area, perhaps a major boost to the downtown area, probably bigger than any project in the last 10 years. So, good luck to you. Hope you all will work well and are successful. Okay, moving on to considerations. Item 6A, consideration for 134 South Main Street, site plan review for facade modification. This is the Berlotti, if I said that correctly, family office. Is the applicant in the audience today? Come forward, please. Or, I'm sorry, not yet. Planner's review.
Psych.
I think I did that to you last time.
Yeah. Keep Roger on his toes.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, this review is for Roger Barrett and Roger Barrett Architects on behalf of the property owner for an amendment to the previous site plan approved at 134 South Main Street. The applicant received site plan approval from the Planning Commission on January 5th of this year to renovate the existing 3,220 square foot building located at the entrance to the Central Business District. The applicant proposed the use of the building as professional office intended for the use by the owner and their family members. This is a permitted use based on section 11015. Existing building is constructed of CMU or concrete masonry units, blocks, and is in a state of disrepair. The site plan approved by the Planning Commission proposed retaining the block and adding facade of cast limestone and brick to the west or front and north facades. The rear facade would be provided with new frosted glass garage door and new windows. Subsequently, during demolition, the applicant uncovered an existing structural condition on the building wall, which, per the applicant, necessitated a change to the facade design to make it feasible and preserve the existing structural supports. So the approved plans indicated, the plans that were approved previously indicate a facade constructed of limestone and brick with a flat roof and a suspended black metal awning, which you can see here. The revised plan proposed replacing the awning with a zinc-colored roof panel, and that change is seen here. So the project is before the Planning Commission for your feedback based on the facade change. If the proposed changes are satisfactory, we recommend the Planning Commission schedule the project for consideration of the amended site plan review at the next available agenda.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions or comments at this time?
Will that material discolor?
Okay, that would be up to the representative to answer, but we'll get one for you.
I'd like to know what drove the change.
Okay. All right, the applicant, please. Again, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Roger Barrett Architects, 6435 Apple Orchard Lane, Rochester Hills, Michigan. This is actually my 7th meeting in a row, being in front of you between Main Street and this project. It's like every month, so happy to be here. So as probably all of you have seen, we're making good progress on the project. It's moving forward. The client's excited about everything. We've got the windows cut in. We now have the limestone and brick on the building. But as you asked, the picture on the left, it's not the greatest picture, but when we removed the old mansard roof, we discovered that there was a cantilevered plank that extends from the front of the building. That hollow core plank, and I think we have another picture, might show it, it's on that same page, I think. Yeah, go up a little bit. That hollow core plank, what we discovered is it connects and ties into that wing wall that's coming off the building on the south side. So we had our structural engineer review it. We looked at the plank. Our initial thought was, well, just remove the plank and we can continue with the project as we designed it. When the structural engineer reviewed it and we reviewed it, it's pretty obvious that that whole structure is tied together. So any modification of that plank or that steel would have affected the remainder of that wing wall and any other part of that roof in that area. So we made the determination that we needed to keep it, and that necessitated the modified awning design. So we worked through multiple iterations with the client and came up with the mansard design with the zinc panel roof. We think it's a handsome redesign. We like the first one and we like this one just as much. And as a matter of fact, this one costs a little more to the client, so he's making an even bigger investment into the project based on this redesign. So I'm happy to take any questions, but we ended up submitting this, and I think there might need to be some discussion about this with an abundance of caution based on what happened with the Main Street Billiards project. But as I read deeper into the ordinance, I don't believe this rises to a planning commission issue. And there is language in there that allows this as an awning to be administratively approved. So I'm happy to discuss it. I'm happy to, take your questions. But I believe if you strictly read the ordinance, this is not a material change by the ordinance. It's not a window opening change, and it's not a substantial building change to the whole building. So there is some language in there. Our position is this is an administrative matter, but we're here out of abundance of caution. Michael's a great owner. He wants to be a great neighbor, and we want to do everything we can to make sure you guys are satisfied with how we're progressing on this project.
Can you talk about the durability of that zinc material?
Yeah, it's actually zinc colored. It's actually a galvanized metal, so it will be extremely weather tolerant.
Other questions, comments from the commissioners? All right. I actually have a couple things I would like to cover. First, I'd like to go over a timeline.
Sure.
January 5th, you received site plan approval.
Mhm.
January 23rd, you received building plan approval.
Correct.
March 6th, the revised plans were received by the city of Rochester. March 18th, you were already building the framing for the new facade.
Correct.
All right. The review was not even completed to the 20th. Why is it that the framing was done before you even did receive your go-ahead?
The answer is there was a miscommunication between myself and the client. He asked if he could still move forward with building the project, and I assumed he understood. It didn't mean necessarily the awning. They went forward and started framing the awning. So it was my fault in that sense. I wasn't clear enough in that you could do everything but this, so they moved forward with the construction on it.
When you say they gave the order to the contractor to build the,
Well, no, the contract, we were all in a meeting together, and he asked, can we continue working on the project? I said, yeah, of course you can. But it was never clarified that everything but the awning, potentially. Now, I would argue that the awning shouldn't stop work anyway, because it's an administrative issue, and there is no real reason to stop the work.
I'm sorry, but I'm beginning to see a pattern. This is basically the same thing that happened at Main Street Billiards.
Well, in my defense on Main Street, I was brought in after the fact on that project.
All right. In terms of this new facade, quite frankly, to me, it looks like this is, you're building a Wendy's restaurant. That's what it reminds me of. I actually think it's a step backwards, but that's not for me to say. What I would like to know or better understand is, you said everything's tied together, but my question is, why couldn't you exactly tie this new framing for the originally approved facade into what you have? If you could just explain it a little more in depth. Is it because of those cinder blocks with the voids in them? You couldn't anchor it to that, or is it more than that?
Correct. That hollow core plank is supported by the cantilevered steel, and it's supported by the masonry wing wall that's on the south side of the building. So if we affected that in any way, we would have reduced the stability of that north or that south wing wall. And our awning overhang that we were proposing was not structural in a sense that could tie back into that.
So you couldn't simply remove that course of cinder block and replace it with the solid?
Correct. That was the issue.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure that I'm buying that. You cut big holes into the north side for new openings, but you couldn't cut a couple pieces of hollow core plank out that are this big?
I don't think, what we're saying is that whole plank has to be removed that is cantilevered off of that steel.
Understood.
Yeah,
You can cut it at the wall, correct?
you could, but then how's it supporting the wall? How's the wall supporting?
How did you cut big holes in the north side to put new windows and doors in?
I think we're talking past each other on what we're cutting out. Can you point to what you think is being cut out?
The shape of a hollow core, so it looks like it's two hollow cores
Those
to
first
each
two
piece.
hollow core, the
Yeah.
2-foot planks
Yeah. 2
would have
foot
to
by
be
1 foot.
removed.
Yeah,
Correct.
correct.
They tie into that tall vertical wing wall at the south end of the building. They're providing lateral support to that wall.
These planks right here are 2 feet wide.
Correct.
And then how long are they?
They're the length of the building.
Understood, I'm just not clear why you couldn't cut it at the wall,
Well-
keep the wall in place.
Because according to our structural engineer, that was the vertical stability. These 2 planks right here
Yeah,
tie directly into this wall.
understood.
They
But that
provide,
wall goes 15 feet south of it, or east of that as well. So all the lateral support is in those 2 pieces at the end?
no, I'm not saying all of it, but it is creating support for this wall. So,
If you were to change the design of that section of the roof, what would that entail? Meaning, so that you could build the originally proposed facade?
I mean, we haven't looked too deep into it because we made the decision to move forward with the redesign, so I couldn't tell you for sure what it would require, except that we would have to cut the steel back, remove the 2 planks, and then come back in with some kind of vertical support for that south wall.
But if I understand what you're saying correctly, those hollow core, you refer to them as planks, but those actually go from the front of the building all the way to the back of the building?
They run from north to south, side to side. The narrow side,
Okay.
narrow direction.
Mr. Barrett, what's that material?
The hollow core plank,
Yeah.
that's concrete.
Concrete?
They're basically concrete with holes in them to make them lighter.
Is it possible to change the material that you're proposing so it doesn't look like a Wendy's? I did have to Google it. It does look like a Wendy's.
Yes,
second that
and
too.
I guess in that rendering it does, but the totality of the building, it will not look like that. I probably should have added a few more renderings, and maybe there are in this packet, if you go down a couple pages. So that roof awning isn't any more than it was previously on the building. So it's not gonna be wrapping the entire building like a Wendy's. It stops right at the patio where we have the other overhang. So it really is only that front facade and then turns the corner for about 10 feet. So the building in totality will not look like a Wendy's by any means, way, shape, or form, except for that awning.
Mr. Banda, in regards to this being an administrative approval as opposed to planning commission, what are your thoughts on that?
In Roger's world, you call that an awning. To me, that's a mansard. So I have no authority over that.
I'm sorry, say that again?
In the architect's world, he might call that an awning. It's not an awning. To me, that's a structure tied into the building. That's structural. That is planning commission. There's no administrative approval process in our ordinances that will allow me to do that.
Can I just add to that also?
Sure.
I found the place that you're quoting, and it does say the installation of new awnings or other window doorway details not previously existing. This was sort of previously existing originally on the building. You approved a site plan where you had a different awning that, so essentially was existing in the plan. So it still would bring it back for needing to review that change.
Well, I think we're at the point, if there's no more questions or comments, that either a motion is made or is not. Commissioners, anyone would
To
like to
set a
make a
public
motion?
hearing only, right?
I'm
Just
sorry?
to set a public hearing for the next meeting, right?
That would be the motion, yes.
Yeah, just to. I'm inclined to set the public hearing just to see what the public says about this, obviously. You know, and Mr. Barron, the issue that I think the planning commission might be struggling with is in cases that have come before us with similar fact patterns, we've held the developer or the owner to some pretty strict standards with respect to procedure. And I think, I don't necessarily have an objection to moving it forward, but I would brace yourself to hear some things that are probably going to be challenging to you, okay? So,
Like tonight?
not tonight, next
No,
meeting.
like I
Oh, yeah,
already
like
heard
tonight,
tonight,
yes,
yeah.
exactly, yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so that being said, I'll make a motion to set it for public hearing, obviously knowing that we're going to have another discussion on it.
Do we have a second?
Can I just ask, after the public hearing, do we still get another chance for approval then, right? So this is the final.
At the public hearing.
Right,
this is
yeah.
your final decision.
Yeah, at the public hearing, if we approve it, then it goes to council.
No, not this one.
No.
Not this one?
No.
No, okay,
But we still get a vote.
yes.
So based on that, I'll second the motion.
All right, roll call, please.
Kenjuk,
No.
Hauser,
Yes.
Berlitich,
Yes.
Harden,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Stone.
No.
So it does not get set for a public hearing.
Right.
What's the next course of action if this is
Well-
under construction?
I hate to be this guy, but we didn't give him that same option that we did the other person. So in hindsight, you should say, don't set the public hearing right now because it's not going to get set anyway. And then you're done. If there's no public hearing, unless he came back with a materially different plan. Would you agree with that, John? I
Yeah,
would.
but if he doesn't want to take the vote tonight, oh, he will wait, postpone
Maybe
the
come back
vote
with
to the
something
next
else.
meeting.
Right now, that means you have to come back again, no matter what, with something different.
I think
obviously.
procedurally, he'd have to come back no matter what.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so right now, it's just basically based on the approved plan, build that or come back again, the different plan, because it did not get scheduled, so it's like withdrawal. That's, you're right. Okay.
Okay.
Roger calls.
So what was it? Denied or withdrawn?
It was denied.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
All right, as I said, item B under considerations is not being talked about this evening. We'll move on to C, which is consideration for 824 Miller Road, site plan review for an existing natural gas regulator station, request for a public meeting. Is the applicant, okay, very good. Ms. Morgan, would you like to do a review, please?
Yes, thank you. So at the city's request, we reviewed the proposal from Amy Gilpin on behalf of Consumers Energy to reconstruct an existing natural gas regulator station. This proposes to remove all existing improvements and construct a new 280 square foot steel building, a new gravel driveway with parking, installation of a concrete panel wall that's 8 feet tall on 3 sides, and an aluminum fence on the street side, which is also 8 feet tall. Just note the use interpretation, Article 3, Section 305 of the zoning ordinance states essential services shall be permitted as authorized and regulated by law and other ordinances of the municipality, it being the intention hereof to exempt such essential services from the application of the ordinance and see the definition of essential services. However, this is not applicable because it does propose to erect a structure over 4 feet in height. So, section 2108, public utilities and facilities notes that any public utility which is not an essential service can be allowed in any zoning district as a special exception. Therefore, the application will require a site plan review and a special exception approval from the Planning Commission. A couple of things to note on the application that should be added. We'd like to have a height for the proposed heater and the remote telemetry unit, or RMU, as it's noted on the plans. So please include that. The plan notes that the area inside the fence will be provided with crushed limestone surface. We'd like clarification on why the surface is represented in 2 different tones, light and dark. Proposed parking area is 12 feet deep and 32 feet wide. And we'd like clarification on the type of vehicle it's intended for. To clarify the purpose of the gate at the southeast side of the wall along the south property line, the distance between the wall and the property line is only 2 feet. Per section 2125 2A, the maximum permitted height of the fence in a residentially zoned parcel, which this is only 6 feet. The proposed 8-foot tall fence and wall will require approval from the Zoning Board of Appeals. And the plan proposes a light fixture on the front and rear sides of the building will be operated from a switch. The fixtures must be downward directed and shielded, especially since the side abuts a single-family residential use on either side, and the mounting height of 9 feet would mean the fixture would be visible above the walls. Landscape plan does not include irrigation, and since this won't be a manned site, we'd like clarification on how the landscaping will be irrigated and maintained. So subject to that list of underlined comments as included in the review letter, we recommend the Planning Commission schedule the project for consideration of the site plan and special exception approval for the next available agenda.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions or comments?
I may have missed it in the packet. What does it look like right now? Do we have it?
That's a good question, because it doesn't look like the picture.
Jeremy, if you can do a Google map and go
Yeah.
to, what is it, 824 or 830?
It's a little brick building for sure.
Yeah, it's a little bit, there's a
drove by it
gravel
this morning.
driveway in front.
He's got one in his presentation.
Oh,
Yeah.
So they have a presentation
Oh.
that they would like to, and she said that she has a picture in there.
Oh, okay.
so is that what it is now?
Wait a moment then.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, then let's hear from the applicant. I'll reserve the questions I have if they're going to show what the site plan looks like, or what the site looks like.
Yeah, because that fence is not there. I drove up today. This portion of the thing would have a lot to say. This is residential. How much that for site here?
But I mean,
Go back and forth and take a look. See how that house is.
yeah, oh,
What they're
so
proposing
it's just
is
naked out
thank
there.
you.
Right.
Okay.
Good evening. Amy Gilpin with Consumers Energy, One Energy Plaza, Jackson, Michigan. I'm here to present the Miller and Parkdale Regulator Station located at 824 Miller Avenue. This is what the current station looks like. And it is 64 years old. It was originally built in 1962. So I wanted to start first with what a regulator station is, because 6 years ago I didn't know what it was, so I thought maybe you may not either. So basically, the gas starts at a really high pressure, and it goes to a compressor station where it gets reduced, because the whole goal is to get reduced to the point where it can go into your house or your business, right? So where it starts at, it can't go to your house at that pressure. So it goes from the compressor station to a city gate. City gate, it gets reduced there, and then from there it goes to a regulator station, which is what this facility is. It gets reduced to the point where it can go into your house. Like I said, it was built in 1962, so this is a complete rebuild and modernization of the existing regulator station. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to add a new building, so we have to demo the old building, and we're going to add a new building. We are adding remote monitoring equipment, which is called an RTU, and I have a picture of that here that I'll show you in a second. Decorative fencing, a new heater, there's something called a filter separator, which I'll talk about as well, and updates to the driveway. So that picture there is what our standard building looks like, and that light is a switch operated light. It does have a downward directed light, and it has a shield on it. And then this is the RTU and a transducer. So basically the RTU is, it collects all the data for the gas system and it ships it back remotely to consumers so that it can be monitored for any kind of like abnormal, like high or too low or whatever, any kind of issues. It gets transported back. So somebody's always looking it over and making sure that the system is functioning correctly. This is the example of what a concrete fence looks like. I know if you hear the word concrete fence, it sounds kind of ugly, but this is actually really attractive. It's very heavy duty. And then that is the ornamental fence that will be in the front. We are proposing an 8-foot fence. The reason for that is because Consumers Energy follows the TSA guidelines, and the guidelines for gas facilities is an 8-foot fence, and that's just for security purposes. The benefit to an 8-foot fence at this site too will be that it'll help be a screening, like a screen for the neighbors, for the building and that type of thing. This is what a heater looks like. So this facility has a heater. Basically the purpose of the heater is to remove like any kind of condensation, that type of thing that's found in the gas. And then next to that we have a site. That landscaping is, what, a year old? That's sick. That's brand new. Oh, that's brand new. And so that's kind of similar to what our landscaping will look like, brand new as well. So, and that is proposed like in the front of our fence. And then there's another example of the ornamental fence. And then here's the site plan as a whole. So I kind of highlighted some of the main features there. You can see the proposed, like the filter separator. So the filter separator is basically a piece of equipment that removes any kind of contaminants and that type of thing from the gas. So that's what the purpose of that is. We have our 14 by 20 building. We have the RTU. We have the heater. And then the driveway, like I said, we're just updating the driveway. So the different colors there, the light gray and the dark gray, the driveway is a 21 AA, and the rest of the site is a 6A. We have, after construction, we'll have like usually about one person per week, like in a truck, go and check on the site. So it's not a heavily occupied, site. It's somebody drives there, they check it out, and then they leave. There's no water or sewer or anything like that in the building. We have the gate there on that south side. It's south, right? Maybe, yeah. We have the gate there on the south side because we need to have some kind of exit route for our crew, and just in case anything's happening. And the way that we design the gates is so that they're offset the property line. So this is actually offset by about 3 feet. I think you went to the gravel maybe, and not the property line, but it should be about 3 feet offset, and that allows for the gate to swing open so that it's not swinging open onto the neighbor's property. It's still on consumer's property, and it just gives like a path for somebody to be able to follow the fence but leave the site if needed. So that's the purpose for that gate. So our purpose today is to request that we be placed on your next available agenda. And I was wondering if you had any questions, because I have engineers here with me, so they can answer all of those.
Mr. Chairman, I usually don't do this, but I didn't get a chance to review this. So you're adding, why isn't there equipment like the heater and all that other stuff there now? Why do you have to have it because of the new building? Because that's a lot more intense. Does it smell? I saw a little flapper on the top. Does the neighbor next door know you're putting all this other equipment? Thought the 8-foot screen will help. I get it, but why is new equipment when there wasn't any there before? Engineer question.
Anthony?
Good evening. Yeah, so why do we not have a heater there now or previously? I mean, I couldn't tell you why they didn't put it in 1962. So I can't really answer that, but
Is it the same function now as what it will be with the new station? Exact same function?
the heater or?
No, the unit, the building has the same function it did in 1962, I assume.
So we install, so maybe I'll just back up a step. So we install these heaters, there's kind of two styles. One for a regular station that doesn't have like a high capacity or high demand. They don't typically install this. They have ones that go inside the building that basically keep the regulators from freezing up in the winter. This station though has a higher demand on it, so we have to install a larger heater in order to prevent freeze-ups on those pilots in the winter. You know, typically, I mean, we do it basically to avoid any sort of like frost heave at the road. So, you know, I don't know if in the past there's been any sort of, you know, frost creep to the road. But due to the demand and the future demand that is required by this engineering has requested a heater to go in.
I just ask, because right now it's a little building with a driveway, and now all of a sudden you've got all this equipment. Do they make noise? I don't know how much video got a chance to talk to you about the impact on the neighbor. I understand the neighbor is supportive, but, and again, if it's all behind an 8-foot screen, probably no one's gonna notice it, but I assume you have bushes in front of the fence so you can't see through, because that's pretty, if that was next door to me, I would not be happy. Right now, I got a little building there, right, so, just my opinion.
Mr. Hauser?
Sure. For something like this, the neighbor would absolutely be notified.
This, to send it to a public hearing for mayor, so I assume so.
Right. I just want to make sure, like,
Yeah.
the letter gets sent to the neighbor?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
If it gets scheduled to a public hearing, they would be notified. I've already actually met with the neighbor and
I think he's in the back,
Yeah.
yeah.
And his realtor, somebody else that put me in contact with him. They came and looked at the plans and looked at the renderings and stuff like that
And
already.
then just, Mr. City Manager, I know local ordinance is 6 feet for a privacy fence. This one is 8 feet. Would they have to go?
Zoning board.
Zoning
But that would be supportable, because we'd want to screen it, because like they said, you want to
Right.
get it over the top. I don't have a problem with that. I just caught me off guard. There's other equipment in there that right now, there's just a little building.
Is part of any plan, would we be able to get like a noise, some type of decibel thing for the equipment that's out there?
Do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, it's a special use. You could ask for any data
Yeah.
to do with something not inside the building. I would think you'd want that.
Yeah, we can provide decibel ratings for, Doug Scott from Rural Professional Services Company. We can provide the decibel ratings for the proposed heater and stuff on that, for your review. And again, with the wall being there, it should dissipate basically anything, that's above your noise ordinance and stuff on that as well, so.
We're dealing with drones right now, and the drones come down at 72 dBs, 12 feet off the ground, and that's louder than a lawnmower. So I would want to know, I'm sure if Vinny at a time, you want to know that data.
yeah,
I think we should have that.
Yeah, okay. And one thing too, with those heaters, they only run during the winter time.
Right.
So people aren't out on their decks or in their backyard listening to that either, so it's, their windows are closed, they're inside.
Because if it was a hum, it would drive you nuts. I mean.
And once again, it's also temperature dependent. We do have sensors that is on the gas stream that if it does get to a certain level, the heater kicks on. When it's over that, it doesn't. So if we have a warm day, there's not a lot of demand on the gas for that given day, it doesn't kick on.
Could I suggest for people like me that are paying your butt, if you have a video of one somewhere else in the world, video it so we can hear it when it's running with the heater, if you could do that.
And like present it on a presentation.
Gentlemen, if the one in the middle, if you could, your name, please, and what company are you with? You're not with Consumers.
I am, sorry. Anthony Stepke, I'm the project manager for Consumers Energy.
And you, sir, are you with Consumers?
I'm with Rural Professional Services Company, consulting firm
Okay.
for consumers.
I just want it to go smooth for you and make sure if we get asked later, you didn't tell me there's a machine that hums next to me. I would ask that. The neighbor back there, I don't know if they would ask that or not, but I would, so.
Other questions? Ms.
I have a
Murphy?
question. for the consumers folks. So several years ago, and I've kind of lost the thread, and there's so much I don't know about natural gas and how it gets to my house. But there was a facility, it's probably still there, near elementary school, I think it's on Dutton Road. So
yes.
Rochester Hills, and they were dealing with, when the kids were out for recess, that there was an excessive smell.
Yes.
Is this the same kind of?
No. Yeah, so I actually was the project manager on the rebuild, and Ro was our consultant for that. So that's actually a valve site by Dutton Roads. I don't know what the name of the school is, but, so pardon me, I forget that, but, yes, that's an odorizer at a valve site, and the purpose of that is to inject odorant into the gas. It's what we're required by law to do. It's the rotten egg smell that you would smell when you turn your burner on, or if like gas was leaking. It's to prevent leaks. Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Or not prevent leaks, but to detect them. Yeah, sorry.
okay,
Right. So
that's a whole
this is
different-
not that. Yes.
thank you.
And I don't know that it's on the actual system itself. We go back to that. Yeah. Normally, what you're asking about, Ms. Murphy, is they're typically at city gates. That's the step here, and they're correct. Yeah, and we're required by law to put odorant into the distribution systems, which is what then goes to residential customers and like the commercial customers.
Where's our city gate for this, that feeds into our regular?
I have to apologize. We have them all over.
I don't think there's any in Rochester, I don't think. I've never seen.
There's some close, like Dutton Road that she mentioned. There's a couple over there. Yeah.
I actually have a couple of concerns. You've showed us in your presentation what this might look like. The renderings that we were given are slightly different, but overall, I've got some concerns that this regulator station does not really fit the neighborhood. You're basically putting whether it's a concrete wall with a aluminum building inside of it. All of the homes in the area are brick with paneling. So that's one thing right off the bat, is that it doesn't fit the neighborhood. I guess one of the questions I have is if I'm not mistaken, coincidentally, I was at an Easter dinner in the neighborhood of 30 Mile and Campground Road, and on 30 Mile, I think there's a similar building, brand new, in the country, no homes, that aesthetically is 2 or 3 steps more appealing than what you're presenting here. So I would like to know why, this isn't being designed in the same fashion, where this station has the ornamental fence all the way around the perimeter, brick lower, siding upper. So that would be something I would like to find out. The example that you showed has a concrete driveway that goes all the way up to the fence. I understand presently that, there is only a gravel driveway beyond the sidewalk. Again, my question is, if you're showing this in the presentation, or why wouldn't we just extend the driveway a little bit? And
Not opposed to showing something similar to this here. It makes sense, as far as adding, rocks to the sidewalk, and you don't want to be stepping on that.
Exactly. I would say, and kids riding a bike, if you veer off, you're going to gravel, you're going down. You should pave that all the way to the gate.
Yeah.
We obviously are, what we proposed initially was matching what we currently have, so it wouldn't be similar. It'd be similar to what's already there, but I wouldn't be opposed to doing what we see here.
Okay, thank you. Beyond that, concern that I have is, in the renderings, you showed like a precast concrete wall. This one, I'm assuming it's precast, but it kind of looks more like a limestone wall.
It is precast concrete, and it does have like coloring in the concrete.
But being that it's a solid concrete wall, my concern is that it's going to be susceptible to graffiti. So question is, is there any program that consumers would undertake that if there is graffiti, it would be cleaned up in a timely fashion?
I'm not aware of any programs that we have, but we have not had anybody graffiti on the walls that we've installed like this.
Okay.
To date, but, I mean, I would hope not. And the neighborhood it's in doesn't seem like a bad neighborhood, but I obviously.
We could get into code, so we do our own walls, so, yeah.
I live in a nice neighborhood, and we own a bridge, and there's been graffiti all over the bridge.
I mean, our intent isn't to have something that looks bad.
No,
with the
understood,
wall.
and, you know, just kind of taking a little closer look. And then, I guess, you know, the plants here are very good, and they provide good cover. The one in your drawing understood that they were new. In fact, that kind of emphasizes the point that I'm going to make, is that it's going to take years before those plants mature and fill in to look anything like this. But beyond that, with no water source, no irrigation, question becomes, how are those going to get watered, especially in the first couple years, so that they survive?
Yeah, I can answer. So just one other comment though on that front facing the street, where we have ornamental versus a solid wall. We do that so that we can actually, and we don't typically install plants that are going to be as tall as the fence. We do like to see into the facility if they were to drive by, or if, you know, a customer sees something, typically they report it. So we do like to have at least street visibility into the facility. But in regards to your question with plants, we do keep our contractors under warranty for the first year. Plants, we do have, I think I've been there for 2 years, but they do have at least 1 year in there to at least establish growth. We have had other instances where a plant has died, and then, you know, we do get notified and we do try to take care of it. It is maintained though by operations as the life of the facility goes on, because we can't hold a contractor necessarily that installs this for more than a year, but yes, it's maintained by operations elsewise.
All right, those are really the concerns that I have. Mr. Batt, I know this might be unconventional, but if we have the neighbor here, would it be inappropriate to ask him what his concerns may be?
So now, can I just throw one more thing about the vegetation? So that's evergreen, not evergreen. So I would not suggest that. That's gonna, the leaves, I get what you're saying, that's crime prevention you want to see, but I'd set a 30-inch limit, plant something that will stay at 30 inches, which would block the starkness of the gravel behind it, and make sure it's an evergreen. And that once established, you don't have to water them, so.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was gonna say. We typically try and use drought-resistant materials and stuff used, and.
Something low would be fine, so I get it, you want to be able to see in there, absolutely. Okay, cool. No, I think so.
Sir, would you like to step up? Your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Ken Sherry. I live at 830 Miller Avenue, just to the south of this. You see the picture of my house and stuff on the drawings.
You're gonna get free gas for life from these guys.
So first of all, they're disingenuous. You can smell gas all the time. Your question.
Yeah.
You can smell gas all the time. One time I called and said, hey, you know, these guys are here and they have a question. You can smell gas. And they had to send a guy out as an emergency. I said, no, all the time you smell gas. So, but hey, I moved in there 10 years ago. It was there when I moved in. I don't have any, qualms about it being there, hey, whatever. I'm a little bit dubious that anybody's gonna water the plants, I can tell you that. For the first 6 years I lived there, nobody cut that grass but me and my neighbor Brian, and we'd weed whip, and I called, and they're like, no, we got a contractor that comes out every week. I go, there's never been one person cut this grass. So that's a concern. That wall does not look like the ornamental concrete that's in the thing. Is that just for the PDF that you just screen clipped this for this?
No, that's an actual picture
Of what you're gonna put in there?
Yeah, or what we're proposing.
Why is it different than that's not what you have in here?
It's not what's in there, and this is what it will be, the revised drawings will be like.
I'm having a hard time with that. Why would you put this in here and then show that?
Consumers just made a change to go with this wall.
That looks like hell.
This wall.
Oh, really?
The other one looks really nice.
Oh, I didn't know what you
The other one looks really nice. So I'm with you, right? They're putting a pole barn up, and also too, they've never done any of that building, and I'm always the one scraping the paint. I've painted it, by the way, matched my house and stuff, because they never took care of it. They leave the keys in it. Yeah, so, forgive me. So, and I also want to know specifically, I have some notes here. The driveway, what exactly are you gonna do there? your picture was kind of, you didn't take it from where it looks so crappy, which is by my driveway. You kind of cut it off, you clipped it.
If I could say, the picture that was presented at the very last page, I don't think accurately represents your house.
No, I'm talking the one that they, yeah, see that, no,
Yeah.
that one looks good. I don't mind that, that's cool. You know, and I understand it's gonna be tall, 8 foot's fine, you know, whatever. But it's a pole barn, that doesn't look like Rochester. You know, it looks like something out in, you know, Romeo and 35 acres, that stuff or something, you know. So yeah, I'm surprised that that's what they put up there. And then the trees too, yeah, 30 inches is nice too, because the neighbors, you can talk about it, they got kids, they don't want them to be curious and looking at it and stuff. Everyone on their block has kids with us. Well, my kids are 30, but. So, the driveway itself, I want to know what the plans are, because it's been kind of fuzzy what you said you can do to the driveway, because the driveway's all cracked to hell. Okay, see, on the right-hand side of that, Pete, you're missing what really is there, so it's like it's all beat up. If you look on the very, very last page of the entire program, it's not actually my house or the property, but if they did what it looked like that on the property, it would be amazing. So if you go, or you can try to
Google Earth, you'll be able to see what's there now.
I can pull it down. Which
Miller.
You gotta go a little, you're,
Too high.
yep, there you go. Now, you're due.
There you go.
There you go, you're close.
North of Parkdale.
Where it says Miller, zoom, there you go.
There it is to the left.
Yeah, so it,
Just go down.
yeah, so there you go, so that, here you go, see, that's, so it's kind of all over the place.
Is that asphalt?
It's, this is perfect, you see what I'm saying, it's all, so what are they gonna do, there's a half curve there. But they got, it's all busted.
Looks like you need a new approach.
That's your driveway, it's supposed to
Yeah, well, I get it, but I'm saying like,
Because I guess our intention was to leave that approach in where it's at, to the other side of the sidewalk. And then as we talked about here tonight, we're willing to extend it to the fence.
okay, because that wasn't in there, at the beginning. So, and also in the plans you said on the south side, my side, they're gonna put grass along the part that you don't own as part of the plan, or you're just gonna leave mine open?
The driveway, sorry, the gravel.
The property line, yeah, well, first of all, that, you'll see it's all beat to hell, but, I'm talking about the property line on the south side, my side.
Where the swings out so you can get out, or you can get grass, or you can get grass, or you can get.
There'll be 1 foot of stone come out from that fence and then 2 foot of grass.
So these, like, he said nobody's ever tried, you guys are taking it better, so you get better,
Also, too, the rocks are, the weeds are constantly those rocks. I mean, I kill the weeds and pull them and all that too, so I don't know if you guys have any kind of a plan to keep track of the rocks.
There is a vapor, or there's a geotextile fabric that goes underneath.
Cool, okay.
And then there's 6 inches of rock, so typically there's not much that grows.
But yeah, now, but like I said, now, 64 years ago, maybe they didn't put it in there, I totally get you, Then the light that's pointing downward, will it always be on the fact that it's a switch? Just when,
Only when people are on site working.
okay. Cool. On my side, which we know is the south side, I have some sprinklers. What recourse do I have if you guys beat up my sprinklers?
We'll fix anything that's damaged.
Okay, as long as we're on the record for that, yeah.
But, so I mean, like, if you have something that's already broken, I don't.
No, they were fine. That's why the grass is green, because I water all that and it's,
We don't wanna,
yeah.
we're not gonna break something of yours and then expect you to.
Okay, cool. So the fact that you've established now you're gonna finish the driveway, that's nice, because the gravel is a mess, like you said, for kids. Little kids ride their scooters and stuff up and down all the time. And, the gate won't swing into my area though?
Basically right up to the property line, and it's only an emergency gate. The only time that's gonna be used is if somebody's trying to get out of there because there's a situation.
Pick them out the front gate or?
The access gate, yeah.
Oh, that is, that swings.
Inward, into your property?
Yes.
Okay, cool. No, there's only there's a small emergency, I totally get that, for somebody gotta get out, that makes sense. And then, you originally mentioned that the wall is gonna be 2 feet from the current property line? That's where it's gonna be, or right on the property?
3 feet in.
3 feet in, okay. So that's more than I anticipated. Okay, all right, because the way I was looking on this, it looked pretty tight, so when I look.
It is tight. I mean,
Yeah.
it's basically,
No, because it's really close to that side, I totally get it.
because it's to allow that 3-foot gate to be able to open on consumer
Oh,
property
okay.
line.
Oh, okay, cool. The wall was different, I like that, that's my main thing, is that wall looks so much nicer in the rendering. The building looked like a pole barn,
So
talk about that.
So you really like the one that was in the set of plans?
Correct.
Okay.
It looks, maybe I'm in the minority, but that looks a little classier.
You gotta look at it.
What?
Yeah, you're the one that's.
Yeah, I mean, if I walk out, I get it, like, look, the place is there, and it's your property, you can do it, but this is Rochester, man, that's why I'm here, man.
Color or style?
Style,
Okay.
yeah. This looks a little more like, that looks pretty industrial and lousy. But that other stuff would go with your pole barn, so maybe that's part of what we thought of, you know. But no, okay, so, in all, like, hey, do what you gotta do, and I'm.
Thank you for your
just a couple of
comments.
Questions and stuff, yeah.
Okay.
So there you go. Does that coincide with what I talked to you about before, or okay, I don't want to that's not what he told me. Okay. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
I would like to just kind of mention the fact or remind everybody that approval of this is based upon a special project, which gives this planning commission great latitude in terms of.
Special exception.
Special exception, excuse me, which gives this commission great latitude in terms of what the final product looks like. So with that said, do we have a motion? One other thing is that I think working with administration and with our planner, I would like to, when you come back, see us new site plans that are better representative of what is actually going to be built, as opposed to, well, we got one picture which is kind of a sample, but we're really going to do something else. So please make sure that everything is accurately reflected in terms of what you're going to build. Having said all of that, do we have a motion?
Rich, I'm confused. Can we then say that we'd rather have this wall, because with the posts and the caps, that does look, I agree with the homeowner.
They agreed to that.
You did?
We're not necessarily agreeing to this particular rendering of this wall. There is other options from the one that we do have, different styles of the concrete. So I'm not, and colors, so, this product that we reviewed, I'm not the biggest fan of the actual, I spoke to our third party on this. That's not a completely concrete wall you're seeing here, so.
If I may, I appreciate everything you just said. I think I would also listen to what the planning commissioner said about being able to have great latitude as to what's approved and not approved. And our view is my personal view would be is, at the next meeting, presuming there is one, come with a complete set of drawings, site plans, illustrations, and what is going to be built, not what conceptually would be, or maybe options, but hey, this is what we want to build. Do you approve it, yes or no? You were here when the guy came before us and something wasn't built the way it was supposed to be, and he's not very happy now. So we don't want that with you. So I would just come back with a proper site plan, exacting detail, how you're gonna do it, what it's gonna look like, and then we would vote on it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to answer his,
You did it,
his question.
and I answered your job. Thanks.
Well said, thank you. Okay. Any further questions or comments? All right, then, may we have a motion?
I'd make a motion to set this item for public hearing at the next available meeting.
With the changes that were noted.
Well, I don't.
It's up to them to do what they can come back with this and you have to take action.
Okay, second? Support. Mr. Stone supports, Mr. Harden made the motion. Roll call, please.
Kenjuk,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Berlitich,
Yes.
Harden,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Stone.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item is miscellaneous. I would like to talk a little bit about the subcommittees that we are in the midst of organizing to advance the goals and objectives that were passed at the last meeting. Is it okay if I make a motion myself? Or does it have to come from one of the other
I
commissioners?
don't know if the chairman can make a motion. Yeah.
Jeff, can the chairman make a motion?
Sorry, I'm trying to get my video on, but there we go. So I don't know what the intended motion was gonna be, but I think that since this is a subcommittee, that typically the chair, would typically just appoint to that. I'm not sure what the intended motion would be.
The motion would just be to formally establish the committee and then appoint the respective commissioners.
Yeah, okay, I guess if we're trying to keep this linear, I would say that the motion to establish the subcommittees would be non-chair, but these would be appointed by the chair.
All right.
Okay, thank you. All right, for efficiency purposes, I'd like to make a motion. This would be to establish a special committee. Hang on, let's close that door, please. Okay, I'll start over, please. Motion would be to establish a special committee on zoning ordinance revisions comprised of 4 planning commissioners appointed by the chairperson. The committee shall be charged with the following responsibilities as defined in the 2026 goals and objectives approved at the March 2nd, 2026 Planning Commission meeting. Those are: number 1, develop design standard recommendations for the downtown area. Number 2, develop recommendations to eliminate discrepancies, contradictions, and inconsistencies within the zoning ordinance following City Council's approval of the revised zoning map and districts. And number 3, develop recommendations to improve and streamline the development approval process. The committee appointments would be Commissioners Berlitich, Hardin, Hauser, and Kenzuk. That's the motion. I'd be looking for support.
Support.
Support by Mr. Berlitich.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Kendrick,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Berlitich, Hardin,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Okay, and I will make a second motion, please. This is to establish a special committee for future planning applications comprised of 4 planning commissioners appointed by the chairperson. Committee shall be charged with the following responsibilities as defined in the 2026 goals and objectives approved at the March 2nd, 2026 Planning Commission meeting. First, fulfill the capital improvements program requirements listed in Section 65 of the Michigan Planning Enabling Act. And 2, prepare for the 2027 master plan, including developing a sub-area plan for South Street, as well as conducting an in-depth housing study. Committee appointments would be Commissioners Berlitich, Murphy, Stone, and Kenzuk. That's my motion. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Madam Murphy. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Kendrick,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
Berlitich, Hardin,
Yes.
Murphy,
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. There you
Thank
go.
you.
Floor is yours.
Any further questions or about any miscellaneous items, any updates on any particular projects?
I've got one very miscellaneous, and I'm going to make it quick. Mr. Banda, you heard Mr. Knapp talk about monthly passes, and maybe Mr. Stone, too, if you can answer this as well, and designated areas for, am I completely delusional and out of line to think, is it possible to have all the monthly passes, the parking passes, park in either the east or west deck?
So right now, what we've done is we set up the standards for the city council back in 15 that 50% of, you can buy 4 passes, 50% of an east side surface parking, 50% of west side surface, 50% east side deck, 50% west side deck. We want the public to have the right to those. We don't want all the permits in one spot. So it's okay if they spread out. I would suggest that we're gonna start looking at designating the back rows against the walls to say, park there for long-term parking. We did it before. I think that's fair. Roger's been fair, but it's easier said than done. We don't need to drive around all day long looking for people with passes. We thought the Masonic lot, we're going to some pay stations, we're trying some different things. Maybe say only that lot can be for permit parking. We thought about that. Roger came in and said, just the opposite. That's really close to the back of Cruz and Mears. Why would you let any parking permits pass there? So you can't seem to get this right, but we'll we'll evaluate. I think it's just push the passes out, 50% of a lot along the back of it, that probably will work. I think we did it before. That was marking tires. They used to mark a tire and see how long that car was on the blue wall. And if they were there in the yellow space in the middle, if they were there too long, they could write them a ticket. So it's a science, it's an art, not a science necessarily, but I think we could look at just pushing them to the farthest parts out in the decks. Some of these permit guys have figured out, they come out and every 3 hours they move their car.
And I'm not suggesting or trying to treat them as outcasts or anything like that. It's just to say, okay, is there a balance somewhere that we could have prime parking for patrons and visitors and guests, and meanwhile recognizing the balance that obviously none of these businesses are open without employees. So how do we, balance those two?
And a lot of, we try to use best practices. We looked at them, like maybe the upper levels of the deck, but then when we talked about that, it's like, so I have to be the one in the winter, I have to shovel my car out because you're putting me on the top. I want to be in the middle because it says I can.
Right.
So I think, again, balance, but we'll look at best practices.
Okay. I just wanted
Can I bring one thing? I think, John, I don't know if you were looking at your phone like I was. There's a special project where you can do anything you want. Special exception, you don't get to do everything that you want. So, John, were you looking at that? I thought you said, yeah. So I want to make sure we don't overstep our bounds on a special exception. And because when you said that, Rich, I knew you were talking about special project, which we could absolutely do. But I agree. We should work with the neighbor to get it how he wants it, but I don't want to get in trouble with them either. Would you agree?
Yeah, you can put conditions on a special exceptions project, but you don't have as much latitude as you do with a special project.
Okay. I just want to make sure, that's, to be fair, yeah.
Noted.
And the ZBA they could say, we don't want that wall. It can't be an 8-foot wall if it looks like that, but we don't want to get past that. We'll work it out with these folks. I don't think they're going to be ready by the next meeting, to be honest with you, so.
And one final thing, for the property on, is it 120 some Main Street? Is the city going to try and work with this owner and the architect to come up with a solution that works?
I'm not convinced that it's not money, and I'm gonna ask not to meet with Roger. I'm gonna meet with the property owner. He's a good guy. He wants this done right. That, it does look like Wendy's. You're 100%. We first, I think I saw it first, I'm like, Jeremy, and he's like, I already saw it on the way in today. That's not what was approved, so, yeah.
I get.
Yeah, if it's money, that's his problem.
Coincidentally, I was having lunch at Tura Lu when they were framing it out, and they did it in about 3 hours.
Yeah, they were fast. I mean, I'm like, what is that?
I drive past it 4 times a day.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I will just say that it reminded me a little bit of, I think it was the Jacobsons at the old, the old Great Oaks Mall. They had the same.
Yeah, you're right. I think that was the style back then, but I don't know where he would ever think that's an awning. It's an answer. The awnings are fabric or metal that you put on the building that are detached, not, in the wildest schemes, I would never call that an awning. So.
Is there anything going on with the property next to it?
Jeremy's got you.
So I've talked to Travis, or the owner, recently, and he is the architect and building company that he was using. His project manager for it had some medical complications, so they had to move on to a new project manager for building out the drawings. He's expecting to submit building drawings. It was supposed to be last week, but I would expect this month.
What's going there?
We don't know yet.
Because it's not the physical therapy place anymore.
Yeah, I don't.
He bought
Albertson.
Yeah, so the previous physical therapist that was going to go there decided that he wanted to invest into his own building, so he bought the Albertson property, and that is an approved use for that area. So then they will be a.
No, it's not. We don't.
Oh, it's a special project.
They have to come in for special projects, so he bought it knowing that he could get through down the neighborhood, but.
The corner lot?
No, the Hell Row.
Oh.
So they're buying it, and they're like, we have like, they're indie people, like, it sounds really good, but if you buy it, and the city council says all the neighbors come out screaming, because they don't want anybody in that building, you got an issue.
That's not the
Not your neighbors, yes.
I'd like to bring one thing up. Based upon the conversation we had on parking, would it make sense to add another category for, I'm not sure, whether, a small retailer or a specialty retailer versus a mass merchandiser?
Interesting.
Yes, yes.
Shouldn't fit all, I agree.
Yeah.
It's like a gas.
Yeah, the parking probably needs to be recalibrated. for
Yeah.
sure.
Because that's, I think, what became very evident is that the rules don't really apply in this case.
And I can tell you, and John, you can relate to this, in Southfield, we had 27 million square feet office. Jeffrey Feiger had one office that was 8,000 square feet, and his desk was in there by himself, but he got charged for 1 to 200. He's like, what is that? And again, you could have data centers, you could have call centers where you have, every 15 square feet, there's a human.
Yeah.
They still get 1 to 200, so I think we could do that.
How
When we
big was
look at the
his
zoning ordinance.
ego, though, to fill that space?
What do we need to do to proceed with that?
When we get to looking at zoning ordinance things, we can put that on
You
the
got a
list.
subcommittee,
Yeah.
right, that's gonna look at
that's
different ordinance
Okay.
items and stuff like
Add
that.
that.
I put that at the top of the list.
Okay, very good.
That's a good, because right now, we're retail, one size fits all, medical, one size fits all. If you're a physical therapist, you're different than a doctor that sees one patient every 2 hours. It doesn't seem fair to have the same parking count. And we don't want asphalt or concrete, so to reduce that parking count, we can work with McKenna, they know the best practices for
Okay,
that.
very good. I believe that's it. Anything else for miscellaneous?
Any update on Tide Cleaner Building?
I get a call every week
Yeah, I can't.
from a different realtor asking what we can do there. And I said, if you want to open up a cleaner, it's a great spot. But the building's too big for the amount of parking, other than a cleaner with a small office.
Yeah, so they asked, the last person that we talked to said, I'm buying the house on the corner, tear it down so I can build a parking lot so I can have retail. Okay, do we want the house torn down? No, it's gonna take property value away, but then they didn't do that either, so. I know they built a white elephant there. We told them, just like this, you don't count on anything other than a cleaners and 5,000 square feet office, so.
Are they paying their taxes?
They are.
Okay.
Well, there is no one left in the audience today. Rose, is there anyone online that may like to make any sort of public comment?
There's no one online.
All right, it is now 9:01. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you,
Rose,
everyone.
would you like to make a public comment off the record?